what does it take to be an innovator? How does an innovator interact with the environment that they're in? How do you create innovators? Are we born innovators or are we made?
I think there's a little bit of attitude as well as aptitude which goes in. And most importantly, innovation in itself is sort of a manifestation of a risk-taking behavior and an opportunistic way of looking at a problem and trying to solve it. That is a lot of times something that is inherent or cultured over how you've grown up. For people like us who've lived in a particular context, like in India, you'd see a lot of problems that are on your face where it's easy for you to start thinking solutions, right? So that sort of opens up your innovation instinct. So when you grow up in a certain context, you obviously see a lot of problems or challenges or opportunities that you could grab. But then how you go through your education or how you get your exposure gives you sort of the inherent confidence and the ideas to solve those challenges. There is a certain risk-taking behavior that has to be inherent.
I've been mostly an entrepreneur for most of my life, since about 1987. And I work in the field of what would be called biomedical engineering now. So I cross the disciplines of really organic and polymer chemistry with engineering and medical devices. So the unique area where I work is we can tweak the molecular structure of a plastic to enable a device that couldn't be done before.
Well, let me try and put it into context about inventors. And I'll use the term inventors as a seed towards innovation. The movement of an invention to product is more what I consider innovation. I look at it as three legs on a stool. One is it's never done in a vacuum. Edison, who was privileged to invent the light bulb, but there were 23 publications and patents on glowing filaments before he patented the light bulb. Alexander Graham Bell was told to be at the patent office on a certain day because this person, I think it's a lady by the name of Alicia Gray, just filed a patent on the telephone. Marconi, who did the radio, his patents were defeated by Tesla. So you have a lot of external influences that really lead to the invention, and making it, what they did is they made it available to everybody every day. So that's one leg of the stool. The other leg is the perseverance. Sometimes you get the idea, you got to work at it until you see a light at the end of the tunnel. And once you see that light, you know you got to make it. It's just a question of having the right people and the right aptitude to do it. The third answers your question, which is a little bit more difficult because to some people it could be discouraging, but to some it's very important. You have to have some innate desire to make something happen. If you're what I call an input person who comes home, turns on the television, spends the whole night watching television, that's input. These people don't usually create. It's the ones who output, the ones who can't sit still, the ones who play sports, they play music, they tinker. These are the ones more likely to innovate.
Innovation, once it gets out of the laboratory, is very much, when it's successful, is a multidisciplinary kind of team effort, sort of interlocking and interacting teams. So in that context, I think what ends up happening is what inspires people and what motivates people to innovate is to succeed for the enterprise.
My perspective on innovation is from within the context of large multinational corporations with tens of thousands of people. But that said, there's frequently an individual who had the invention, if we distinguish invention from innovation. And that individual is usually someone who has enormous talent, and in the sciences is usually standing on the shoulders of others, because science by its nature is incremental. But they had a blinding insight, something that really pushed things forward. And then the third most critical factor for that inventor is that they have tenacity. Because particularly in a large corporation, there will be many forces to beat you down. There will be many forces that say, oh, that's too risky, it's going to cost too much, we have this other little incremental technological fix that'll bring us some some money right away. And you'll find that the person who is in that inventor role in a corporation is a champion. And sometimes I have seen champions continue, doggedly for 15 years, to push their idea before it goes forward. But then at some point, if that invention is ever going to see the light of day, it has to be handed over to the corporation as a whole, to what I would call the innovation machine of the corporation, to then develop it and commercialize it